all of the Bitcoin, and you offered it to me for $25, I wouldn't take it, because what would I do with it?
What is going on, everybody? DJ Mont here. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to try something new to this channel. I haven't really seen this done before. We're basically going to be reacting to news or Warren Buffett, all types of different people talking negatively or not so favorably towards crypto. And yeah, let me know if you like this style video. Real quick, huge shout out to Crypty for fixing our logo. Now you can see we have the Bitcoin on there instead of having 2 Ethereum. If you don't like my merchandise, that's totally cool. You can pretty much pick up any type of crypto coin that you like on their website. Use my link and you get 10% off. All right, first in the shoot, this is actually by popular demand from my Discord, Warren Buffett. I'm pretty sure he's not pro Bitcoin or really crypto.
The farms are going to produce food, and if I've got all the Bitcoin, I'm back where whatever his name was, who may or may not have existed, was 15 years ago. If I've got it all, he could create a mystery about it. But everybody knows what I'm like. I mean, so if I'm trying to get rid of it, people will say, well, why should I buy some Bitcoin from you?
Why should I buy some Bitcoin? Instead, I could buy this right here, peanut brittle, guys. Who needs the future? Who needs technology and blockchains? We don't need any of that. I can get some See's candy. Oh, that's what life's about, guys. Coca-Cola. Warren Buffett is so dated. I mean, you got to respect him on the stock side. But besides that, I wonder how Warren Buffett would have done if he was born recently. I know he made a lot of money off of older companies that worked back then. But anything technology, I don't know. My personal experience, you want to avoid everything that Warren Buffett says.
I mean, why don't you call it Buffett coin? Make your own or something. What? Do something. But
Buffett coin.
I'm not going to give you anything for it. And you'd be right, incidentally. But that explains the difference between productive assets and something that depends on the next guy paying you more than the last guy got. Now,
this is a ridiculous point. I've heard this 1,000 times. I mean, you could say that about anything, any type of commodity that you even want to think about. A comic book, for example. If you're into retro video games, yes, everything is pretty much worth what other people will pay. I mean, graphics cards, price goes up. Supply, demand, man. This runs the whole planet. It's the same with everything else that you invest in. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Net, if you look at it, a lot of commissions have been paid, and there's all kinds of frictional costs that are very real that somebody has paid to a bunch of people who facilitate this game.
Everything.
But whatever one group of the public has taken out, or one group of owners, has come in from other people. I mean, other people have entered the room and they move money around, but no money there's no more money in the room. It just changed hands with a lot of maybe fraud and cost.
Okay.
A whole bunch of things you lose. You forget the numbers or forget the equation.
I don't know, Warren. I think you might be the one forgetting things, my friend. I don't think it's us.
You can do that with a lot of things. I mean, it's been done throughout history.
I hope he's not talking about Bitcoin.
Have value that don't produce something tangible. I mean, you can say a great painting, probably will have some value 500 years from now. May not, but the odds are pretty good that if it was a big enough name, at some point, there will be a few things. I mean, you can find something pretty. If somebody wants to sell you a pyramid or something, and you can charge the viewers, or
somebody wants to sell you a pyramid from where? Where do you buy it? What a great example, Warren. Where do you even buy a pyramid? From Egypt? Maybe you could buy the old Mayan pyramid somewhere. I mean, like, what are you even talking about? Tangible. This rant on owning things that are tangible. It's ridiculous, man. It's the internet. Like, things have changed, man. Not everything you have to physically hold. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't want to hold. I don't want to hold a bunch of CDs or DVDs for my movies. That's why something like Netflix is awesome. Streaming platforms, there's not tangible is ridiculous. All right, let's listen to this pyramid example. Awful.
It'll be around a long time and won't produce anything, but people will find it interesting to go there because I've read about the pyramids. But basically, assets, to have value, they have to deliver something to somebody, and there's only one currency, that's acceptable in the United States. I mean, you can come up with all kinds of things. We can.
Oh, look at the dollar. Oh, the dollar is so great, guys. Thank you so much. I mean, we've produced what, an 80-90% of the US dollar just recently. It's worth nothing, man. It's literally a piece of paper. It's worth what you're holding. It's worth what it's backed. And you know what it's backed by? Nothing. It's definitely not gold. We didn't all of a sudden get a bunch of gold in the US or really anywhere across the world. This is a terrible points here, Warren. I'm so sorry, but I hate to do it to you, man, but awful.
We can put up Berkshire coins, or we can put up Berkshire money or anything like that. But we get in trouble, I guess, if we call it money. But in the end, this is money, and there's no reason in the world why the United States government, whose currency people prefer, there's just under 2.3 trillion just of these little pieces of paper floating around some places, 7,000 for every man, woman, and child in the United States. And of course, most of them probably aren't in the United States. Who knows?
Okay.
But this is the only thing that's money. And anybody that thinks the United States is going to change to where they let Berkshire money replace theirs, it's out of their mind. I mean,
okay.
So anyway, with those few deficiencies, you can, whether it goes up or down in the next year or 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. But the one thing I'm pretty sure of is that it doesn't multiply, it doesn't produce anything. It's
to touch on Warren's point here, like, what does the US dollar produce? It produces nothing. Nobody cares. And honestly, the people involved in crypto, specifically Bitcoin, or really anything that's supposed to be decentralized, doesn't want the US involved, doesn't want the banking system involved at all. If it was up to everybody, I'm pretty sure we would prefer Bitcoin to be its own thing. Now, of course, the US government and really everybody else is going to tax it. They're going to get their money. They see a lot of people making money. The days of just going around and swapping out Bitcoin for free are definitely over, and there will be more regulation. That's a totally different video. But I mean, you're really making no points here. Nobody is asking this to be the currency that takes over US or taken over from the US government. Like, what? That's an awful point. And I honestly think he does no research. He just looks and says, that's funny money. That's not real. That you can tell, man, the things he invests in, the way he speaks on things, specifically to technology, he has no idea what he is talking about. I'm surprised if he even has a smartphone. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, but it just seems like he knows what he knows, and that's pretty much it. And it doesn't seem like he knows that much anymore. He might have used to, but he's probably like 50 to 60 years behind on planet Earth. It's quite embarrassing, and it's very difficult to listen to. All right, so next we're going to look at CNBC and see what this guy named Ben is talking about.
His point of view on cryptocurrency these days. This is what he had to say.
So Bitcoin and other currencies, cryptocurrencies whose value changes minute to minute.
So does everything else.
They've been successful as a speculative asset, and you're seeing the downside of that right now.
Everything is down right now.
They were intended to be a substitute for fiat money, and I think in that respect they have not succeeded, because
well, okay, it depends when you bought it. You know, I still have a little bit of Bitcoin from 2017. I mean, that's doing extremely well. So yeah, right now, if you want to cherry pick and say from its all-time high, it's down 40-50%. Sure, yeah, if you just bought it or you bought it at the very peak, of course, you know, but could it go down to 5,000-10,000? Yeah, that's when I would say be worried or something. But this is ridiculous. It's pretty much at $30,000, and Ben's just picking what he wants. I mean, the entire market is down. The stock market, I mean, the housing market is in a massive bubble. We're pretty much in a recession. I don't know if they want to officially call it that right now. Inflation is up 8%. Like, everything is down right now. What's going on with China, we don't even need to get into, but the shortages everywhere, you know, just to say, oh, it's Bitcoin, it's not a good point at all, Ben.
Bitcoin were a substitute for fiat money, you could use Bitcoin to go buy your groceries. Nobody buys groceries with Bitcoin because it's too expensive and too inconvenient to do that.
For now.
Moreover, the price of groceries, the price of celery, varies radically day to day in terms of Bitcoin, and so there's no stability either in the value of Bitcoin.
No, that's not how it works at all, Ben. I've done this before with an escrow service. When I purchased a motherboard, we agreed on a price, and then it stayed at that price for like 3 minutes. I believe it was 3 to 5 minutes, and both people accept and say, yes, this is the amount that I'm willing to take. So obviously you're not going to say yes or no to a computer when buying a thing of broccoli. The price would stay at whatever it's going to stay at for a certain amount of time. It's not going to, you go up there and this water bottle costs $1, and then by the time you get there it's $1.50. That's not really how it works. It'd be set by set, day by day, hour by hour, but it would all happen very quickly. It could even be quicker than an hour. It'd be programmed. It'd be very simple. It's not this, it's not that difficult, Ben. You're really overcomplicating it. And also the US dollar has been around forever, so of course it's going to be much easier at this current moment to use fiat. I mean, obviously.
The main use of Bitcoin is mostly for underground economy activities and things that are illegal or illicit.
Illegal. Oh my God. Pump the brakes here, Ben. All right. Do you think that no drug dealer has ever accepted cash? Do you think that's not happening right now, at this second, at this minute? Throughout this whole video, there's been a bunch of deals being made. People have bought firearms, really everything that you can think of under the table. Do you think that Bitcoin's the only one this has ever happened to? No. Okay. It's ridiculous to say. This is a fallacy, and it has happened, admittedly. Of course, it will continue to happen, but it will happen with everything. This is just a terrible point, Ben.
So I don't think that Bitcoin is going to take over as an alternative form of money. It'll be around as long as people are believers and they want to speculate in this. But again, I don't think it's going to. And you
don't buy into the idea of it as being a store of value or some kind of version of digital gold.
Well, as I said, it's a speculative asset, but it's one that, whose underlying use value, gold has underlying use value. You can use it to fill cavities.
Okay, Ben, how much gold do we really have in that bank, huh? Knox. I think it's in Knox, right? How much gold do you actually think we have? I can tell you it's not as much as we just printed, but that would take more gold than all the gold on Earth. So you're really talking out your butt if you think that the US dollar is backed by gold. Now, does gold have a use? Of course, but it's pretty empty in those banks, man. You should check it out. Do a little bit more research, Ben, before you go on TV and humiliate yourself.
This value of Bitcoin is to do ransomware or something like that. So
ransomware.
One of the other risks that Bitcoin has is that it could at some point be subject to a lot more regulation. And the anonymity is also at risk, I think, at some point.
True on both.
So, investors in Bitcoin should be aware of that.
I would argue that if you're an investor, right, not so much the user, that's very exciting for you, because once the regulation comes and once it starts going on ETFs and these large hedge funds can then invest in Bitcoin, the price is going to go through the moon. And I think most cryptocurrencies will skyrocket following Bitcoin. But no, from an investor point, like, you're going to be very happy the more regulation. Now, as someone who crypto mines, as someone who's more involved in the actual coin itself, you're not going to want that. But no, from an investor, I got to say, Ben, I don't really agree with anything that you said besides maybe it's speculative investment. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's speculative. But I mean, what isn't speculative at the beginning? Everything is speculative at the beginning. I was going to show you another clip, but I think I'll save it for next time. Let me know if you guys like this style of video, and maybe I'll do more of them. It will definitely motivate me to do more of them. If you hit like, leave some kind of comment. If you hate it, that's cool. Just let me know. Please consider subscribing. I love every single one of you guys, and I hope to see you on the next one. DJ Minds, signing out.